Hey guys, welcome back to the TohirT channel. TohirT is here. I hope you had a fantastic week. Well, if I look extra crispy or ugly, depending on the point of view, I am recording for the first time in 4K. And the reason for that, I got myself a new computer. And in this video, I'm gonna walk you through a few different options that you have to pick your own upgraded rig. Whether you wanna play your adult Lego version and assemble a PC on your own, whether you wanna use a service provider like iBuyPower, OriginPC, Maingear, and order someone else to assemble it for you, or if you want to just go to your local electronics store and buy one off the shelf. There are a few different options. I'll walk you through my logic to pick the path that I did, and I'll provide you with a review, opinion, or whatever else this video is. Let's do this!
No!
It's worth mentioning that the options that I'm going to describe right now are budget agnostic. I think you can find what fits your budget in every one of these columns. Number one is you can go and buy a ready-to-go computer off the shelf of the local electronics store, Best Buy, Walmart, whatever else you have in your region. This is great. The pros is it's nice, easy, and fast. You just grab and go, install, and you're ready to roll at home. The downside is you are limited to what they have in stock, and frequently those companies that sell their computers, their PCs in the electronic stores usually try to keep some concessions when it comes to the gear, to the actual hardware that they put in their computer, because they want to try and compete on the cost. So the plus, you will get the speed. The downside, the choices that you will have at your hands will be limited. The option number two is to use a company like iBuyPower, Maingear, OriginPC, BuildIt, a bunch of other companies that are out there to build your own PC, so to speak, from scratch using one of their online tools. Select all the different parts that you want. They will assemble the computer for you. They will install all the applications, the Windows, they will test it, and they will ship it to your home. The upside is the selection of the gear. The hardware that you're gonna input in there is wider. You will have some options to choose from, although from one company to the other, one service provider to the other, you will have different selections. Some of them will not have all the parts that you would want. And obviously you will pay premium for someone to go and do the assembly. Plus the other risk, it will be shipped to you. So whatever happens to it during the process, while it's in the air, on the ground, in the truck, getting to your home, is kind of up to the mercy of the shipping gods, and you're also at the mercy of the person who is assembling and testing that PC for you at that company. So depending on their customer support and their technical support, the quality may really vary. Finally, the third option is all in true what they like to call adult Lego approach, where you just buy every single part of hardware online in the stores, you bring it all back home and you assemble it piece by piece. You play that Lego, you connect everything, and you're ready to go. The upside, it's fully customizable. Whatever you want to put in that PC, as long as it matches and works together, it's essentially, world is your oyster. You can do whatever you want. But the downside is you really have to know what you're doing. You have to watch some of those videos like LinusTechTips, one of my favorite channels, and I would advise to watch one of their PC build guides if you really want to follow it. But you will have to follow someone else's guide unless you're really good at it. And the other downside is, as much as they tell you that it's easy, it will take time. So in terms of the cost savings to the time, this is definitely on the edge of you're gonna save some money, but you will also spend a lot of your time assembling that thing together.
No!
So it's awesome. You have options to choose from. You have 3 different paths to take. What did I pick? Well, my logic was the following. I obviously started by just researching and reading places like Reddit, Twitter, other forums and blog posts to just see what people think about these 3 options. And if you do the same thing, beware that 90% of the time you're gonna come across someone saying,
Oh, this is easy. This is like a Lego. You should just go and assemble the thing on your own. It's foolproof.
great. I read that and I was like, okay, it's foolproof. I'd like to think I'm not an idiot. I should probably go for it. Then you start watching some of those PC build guides and you read through the instructions from other people, and you'll realize that there are quite a few points when they say things like, oh, but yeah, connect this thing to this thing, but by the way, if you won't connect them correctly or you'll connect them in reverse, you're gonna fry that piece of the hardware. Or yeah, go and make sure it's fully inserted. If it's not fully inserted and it's a little bit shaky, you're gonna fry that piece of the hardware. So you essentially have several points where you can completely destroy the hardware that you just spent anywhere between $100 to hundreds and maybe even thousands of dollars. I don't know. I hear people say that it's easy and it's nice and it's simple, but to me the opportunity cost of spending all that time, which is already a consideration, and then risking actually destroying the hardware just because I had a lapse of judgment or I forgot to connect a particular wire, that wasn't just worth for me. I'm sorry, I hear people say it's easy, but I do not trust myself that much, and for me, building it from scratch on my own was off the table. The other option I considered was obviously going to Best Buy, Target, Walmart, and just getting one in that store, maybe ordering online on Amazon. The reason why that one was shoved away was primarily because of what I mentioned earlier in this video. The selection and the choices that they had were not fitting. There would always be the situations where it has the right GPU that I want, but it wouldn't have the right CPU that I wanted, or it will have one particular set of RAM, but it will not support it unless I go and spend another $500 for the GPU that I did not need. It was overkill for me. So for me, that was an easy no as well. And this is how I landed on picking the service provider to assemble the entire PC for me. Again, did a bunch of research, read about different vendors. As I said, there are plenty of them out there. There's exotic build, build it now. Yes, I think build it now. As I said, main guys like HP and their Alienware. There's OriginPC, there's iBuyPower, there's Maingear. There are plenty of vendors out there. So I actually read and checked out the tools for each one of them. A few dropped off the list right away because they did not have enough. And I think my trifecta of the finalists were Maingear, OriginPC, and iBuyPower. Between those three, OriginPC was the most expensive. It's ridiculous how if you assemble a PC and pick the same parts on Origin versus iBuyPower, Origin will be consistently a few $100s more expensive. That eliminated OriginPC. I was left with, I think, Maingear and iBuyPower. And the more I read about both, iBuyPower stood out with the fact that they had a good customer support. They had it 24/7. They were very active on Reddit, so you could actually post and get some help on Reddit instead of calling. And across the board, the selection that they had was superior to some of the other vendors out there. So for me, it was an easy pick. I ended up sticking with iBuyPower. Yes, I hear the criticism about the higher costs for someone like iBuyPower, but to me, the cost of time that I would have spent assembling it over the course of several days and risking parts disappearing because I have two kids running around the house, and the opportunity cost of burning some of those hardware pieces by connecting them incorrectly, just made it worth for me paying whatever it worked out to be extra $100, $200 to someone at iBuyPower to assemble the PC for me and test everything and make sure everything works. This is why I want to make this point. People frequently forget about the opportunity cost, and they forget about not all of us have enough time or the skills to go through some of those other easy Lego steps. This is how I ended up on the path of finding a service provider to build my PC, and that service provider ended up being iBuyPower. Now that we had the vendor in place, it was time to build a PC. iBuyPower has a very easy to use tool online. It's essentially a selection tool where you select one part after the other in logical order. The great thing about this tool, it's easy to use, it's visual, it's very descriptive, it gives you full model names and the cost implications. So you see right away how much it will add to your total bill if you're gonna go and upgrade to a part of a higher level. When you select the parts, one of the criticisms that I heard about iBuyPower is that if you let them pick custom, cheaper options, no name brand, so to speak, they will give you cheaper parts that are not necessarily as high quality and as long lasting. The way I suggest you combat that, you select named brands only. As you select, especially the CPU, the GPU, the power block, the RAM, the motherboard, you go with the named brands. So you see the Corsairs, you see EVGA, you see Asus, you see MSI. You make sure you pick the brands. You don't select the generic things that iBuyPower offers you by default. Yes, it will cost you a little bit more, but you will know that you're getting the quality. And the bonus point is you can and you should Google the reviews for each one of those parts that you select, because that allows you to understand whether you're actually selecting the right piece of hardware at the right price point into your machine. The final two items that I did end up spending extra $40, I think, on were the professional wiring and the additional packaging. Another complaint that I saw online about iBuyPower was the fact that sometimes, depending on who assembles your PC, the wires can be all over the place. So cable management is not necessarily the top of the priority list there. So you can avoid that by paying a little bit extra for someone to professionally cable manage your entire system. Looks beautiful and was worth the money. And Additional packaging, listen, they were shipping from California all the way to New York, so for me those $19 paid for extra packaging around and inside was well worth it. Now at this point you should have fully selected PC, fully researched parts and different gadgets and gizmos that you decided to do, some RGB stuff, some fans, I don't know what you picked. You picked that, you picked the wiring, the right cable management, and you picked the additional packaging. You're ready to double check that your order is correct and hit that submit button. Post-order experience from iBuyPower was really great. I think it's actually unsung hero, so to speak, of their general customer experience, because I never saw anything about it when I was doing the research. But once I actually paid and bought the PC, I started receiving those regular updates both in the email and text, which was optional. Each step of the way was fully communicated to me that the parts were being gathered, that the parts were gathered, that they were tested to make sure they're all compatible. The thing went to the assembly, it was assembled, it was tested, it was additional QC and tested, it was packaged, and it was shipped. And as I said, it was shipped from California to New York, and it only took them like 3 days, I think, to ship it, which was great as well. Once I received the box, it was huge. It was like 50 pounds or about 25 kilos for the entire thing, because again, some of the parts were pretty heavy in my PC, but in general, the box was easy to open, everything was very much aligned and secured. The great thing was, throughout the delivery, there was only one small issue. The fact that one of the RGB fans on the front of my PC got disconnected, which was an easy 5-minute fix. All I had to do is move the side panel, reconnect the cable, put the side panel back, and I was back in action. If you are not comfortable doing this kind of things on your own, you can always call their 24/7 customer support and go through the steps with them live. And if you really feel antisocial and you don't want to talk to anyone live, well, as I mentioned, their Reddit community is very active and their tech support guys are there to help you and assist you and look at the photos of any kind of issue that you want to highlight to them. Well, overall, my experience with iBuyPower was very positive. I enjoyed the process of selection. I enjoyed the fact that they had all the parts I wanted, that they gave me the config that I wanted. They did a great job assembling it, and it came in one piece with only that small minor issue that I had to deal with. To me, the value of that extra fee that I paid for the assembly and the delivery was in the fact that I did not have to spend 4, 5, 6 hours doing the assembly, risk burning the hardware, or not fully understanding what exactly am I doing with all of those electronic pieces. I love it. I love the process of assembly of different things. If you really enjoy it, go for it. Go watch those videos and assemble it on your own. Or if you want to save completely all that hassle and you do not necessarily have very particular type of hardware that you want, go and buy it off the shelf. But for me, iBuyPower was an amazing choice. I loved it. And that machine will be the one fully processing this 4K video for the first time. Did you find my story of building a new PC useful? Do you think you're gonna go with one of those 3 options? And what are other tips and tricks that you would suggest in building that ultimate rig? Share your thoughts and ideas in the section below. And this is all that I have for you guys this week. As you can see, the beauty of building your own PC is that there are different strokes for different folks, there are different options, and you should just go with what suits you. Do your research, use my video as your guide, but at the end of the day, you don't have to go the same path that I did if you're comfortable with certain choices that I offered. Alternatively to iBuyPower and using the service provider, well, it's your choice. Just make sure if you're really going to buy it off the shelf, do your research and make sure you read the reviews. And if you decide to go and actually assemble it from scratch, watch those. Again, LinusTechTips has a great few videos on the PC building guide. I would highly recommend it, and that'll be the place for you to go. Thank you very much, guys, for stopping by. If you're new to this channel, go ahead, hit the subscribe button and check out the videos in the backlog. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you very much for stopping by. As always, let me know in the comment section below what you thought about this video, and I will see you all next Saturday, 10 AM Eastern, on this very channel. Hope this video looks nice, because this is the first time I'm truly shooting in 4K at like 100 bits ratio. It's gonna be crazy. I think I'm almost out of the memory already, but this is part of the reason why I needed a bigger and new PC, because it's more powerful, it can handle 4K out of the doors, and it has the right amount of memory space to actually handle all this juicy 4K footage. And yes, the past 4K footage was actually upscaled 1080p. It still looked okay, but I'm pretty sure this one will look better. Well, let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.